So it's episode 2 for the VL build going to Summernats, and now Candos. So we ended up getting 2 tickets for the VL and 1 for the CV8 to go to Candos. My mate's going to drive the second ticket for the VL. So in this episode we go through, tear down the motor. We've run into another issue with the engine, so we're going to have to tear it down a little bit further than what I had planned, but it doesn't matter. We dropped the heads off at a bloke in Mudgee called Wee Rico. The last bloke I got to fix the head stud didn't have a machine big enough to deck the heads, so we dropped them out there. We're going to take 50 thou off it. We've got a turbo killer camshaft from GM Motorsport. I had it laying around from another project, so we're going to throw that in there and put it on E85, so we're going to get some bit more compression by decking the heads. So just on that, we're going to push forward pretty hard on the VL to get it finished. Gareth, obviously from LS Conversions, is doing the harness just so that we can get that car somewhat finished and then focus on the CV8. We need to redo the fuel cell on the CV8, or the fuel system on the CV8 to go to methanol. We just kind of threw it together, I'd say, for Summernats last year. But most of that fuel system we're going to rob and put onto the VL. So it's got 730cc injectors with the 6 litre, which is probably going to be plenty for what it needs. Take the fuel cell out of that. We do that in this episode, albeit pretty rough, but it's not road legal, so we won't have to worry about that too much. Also, we got a new radiator support lower section put in the VL. There's a video on that. We take it out of another car. It's one of the things we do here at TUF Motorsports, is we do a lot of cut panels for people. So that car, I think, had the A pillars taken out of it and the lower A pillar, a few other pieces. So we'll show you what goes into that. And we should be ready pretty much next weekend to put that, next weekend to put that engine bay. We're going to wrap to the engine bay in the Alpine white, original VL colour, and then fix up all the jacking points underneath it. And we'll Raptor, or Black Raptor, underneath the bottom of that, inside the car, and get it ready to drop the engine in. So, like I said, we had a few dramas with the engine, but we've pulled that down. We've ordered some more parts from Malix. I'm almost sponsored by Malix at this point, not really, but yeah, those guys, they ship things out and they're there within 2 or 3 days. So shout out to them guys for what the work they do. They must be pretty well onto it to get the parts out that they do. So yeah, we'll go through that, watch the video, do the cut panels, working on the fuel system, and welding in the new radiator lower support. So I'm not a qualified welder by any stretch, so this isn't a how-to or follow my instructions, because it's pretty rough. So I'll do a bit of a video on the valve springs, changing the valve springs out. We're going to clean these heads up anyway, so we'll take the valve springs off, clean them up, and then machine the deck, put a new set of valve springs on. So this is Bluegrass Performance. I think there's many versions of this type of valve spring removal kit. They probably just copy each other, but it's got a little spacer on here. Two bolts go in to hold this down. And then you just found it easier with a ring spanner, but you tighten this up, push it down on the valve spring to a point where you can get the collets out. Sometimes they do pop. They'll pop out. Sometimes they come out a little less violently. So this one decided to pop, but all the collets are out. We'll go ahead and back the springs off. That's pretty much it. And then these do have a bit of suction on them, the valve stem seals. You just lightly put the vice grips on them and you can pull the valve stem seals straight out. I'll set it up, do a time lapse of the other ones, and yeah. So we pulled everything apart and the cam bearings are shot. So we're gonna have to get a set of those, get the tool. I've never done them, so we'll have a go at that together and see how it's done. I've honed up this side of the cylinders, cleaned them up. Obviously you can see they're very glazed on the other side. Starting to get a bit of a list together for the CV8 and the VL. Just thought we'd show you another aspect of what we do here, TUF Motorsports, in regards to the cut panels. So we've taken the two A-pillars out of this one, as well as the lower A-pillar over there, headlight bucket. So I need a new lower radiator support for the VL burnout car, so we'll pull this one out. Pull this one out of this car. I've gone through and just marked the spot welds on it. I'm not worried about keeping this panel, so I won't be using a spot weld drill bit. I'll just drill straight through it, grind these sections off here, and then fit this part onto the other car. So we pulled that panel out. I'm not a panel beater, I'm not a welder, I'm not a painter or anything like that, so everyone will be able to roast me on all my welds and dodgy panel work. If you didn't have any cuts or anything off any of the cars, well not any of them, but any of the cut cars, let me know. I mean, we do destroy the cars, but no one was ever going to invest the money to fix up a wagon. The roof's completely gone, so you'd be at another $1,000 just to replace the roof probably, or put in a million little patch panels the whole way through it. So some do have to get wrecked to save the money, but that's what we do here anyway. So we'll go and get the bent. I mean, this is probably still bent. Go and get the worst one off the other car and tack this in, weld it up, get it ready for paint. When I say paint, I mean Raptor, the engine bay. So it'll cover up most of my ugly welds. So we removed the bracket for the charcoal canister and a few other little brackets up here. We'll go and get all this stripped off to replace the lower radiator support on it. I've drilled these, or started to drill these out with a spot weld drill bit so that we keep this panel intact. So we've got something to weld to in the new piece when we put it on. So we'll get started on that. couple of extra tacks in the corner just in case, because I don't really trust them. But hey, it is what it is. It's not going to fall off, I don't think. But yeah, not a welder. Fill up them holes in there and clean everything up and get ready for paint.
Yeah.